Welcome to Poetry Podcast. I'm Patrizia Dragan, and this is a show about active citizenship from around the world. Our show is powered by the IYE-LABS project and supported by the European Commission. For our last episode, we are traveling all the way to Croatia to chat with Damir from Impact Hub Zagreb. Damir, together with his team, implemented the IYE-LABS training program in Zagreb. Hi Damir, how's it going? We are very happy you are here with us today.
Hello, it's nice to hear from you. Well, yeah, I'm also very happy to be here, and I hope we'll have a fun discussion and a conversation.
So, for the past 2 years, you've been actively involved in the IYE-LABS project in Zagreb, working with young people and managing the overall collaboration. Could you tell us a bit about yourself and why you decided to be part of this project?
Yeah, so my name is Damir Muzina. I work for Impact Hub Zagreb, and basically IYE-LABS project is my first gig for Impact Hub Zagreb, so it kind of plays a important part in my career within Impact Hub Zagreb, and for sure it will stay as a nice memory, not only because of the project itself, but also as being something like the first project that I worked for at Impact Hub Zagreb.
Could you share with our listeners a bit about Impact Hub Zagreb? What is it that you do as an organization?
So Impact Hub Zagreb basically has a company and an NGO. So company is running a co-working space, and an NGO is creating, applying, and doing many different projects around young people, mostly young people, and we are focused in areas of education and entrepreneurship. So the co-working part is a classic co-working, so which means it's a very interesting environment. So we are in a space surrounded with many different kinds of people, different backgrounds, experiences, stories, and nationalities. So it's a very diverse community, which is really a pleasure to work from.
Well, I can tell for sure the co working space looks amazing. If I would live in Zagreb, I would definitely work from there. You can check out their space on the zagreb.impacthub.net webpage. So, you are now at your second edition of the IYE-LABS training program. Could you share with our listeners what was the experience of organizing the first IYE-LABS training program in Zagreb? Who were the young people that participated? What were the project ideas?
Yeah, we now started the second edition of training. So sure, yeah, I can tell you more about our experience in the first labs. So we got participants were mostly young people, most of them students, with many different and interesting project ideas. At the end, we ended up with three projects. So one of them was about reducing plastic waste at the university grounds. The second one was about boosting creativity among adults. Well, basically, the topic was losing creativity uh, when you grow up and when you go through the education system. So the solution was to make an exhibition, and these exhibitions aim was to invoke creativity among the ones who are participating in it or watching it. And the last one was regarding kids who didn't have without parents, so who were kids that were in institutions. So the aim of this project was to help to check if there is any need for help within these institutions from some third party outside. And yeah, so it was a really interesting experience. So for this first batch of IYE-LABS, yeah, we went through an interesting period, of course, with all this Corona and COVID situation. So basically, at the point where we were supposed to go through piloting the projects, Corona kicked in, so it kind of messed up the plans. But it was actually very beautiful to see that the participants didn't give up, and they still were engaged in their projects and their ideas.
It's nice to hear that even though COVID happened, the participants were still motivated to implement their project ideas. What motivated you to start a second edition? And what are the differences between the two editions?
What motivated us to start the second edition? Well, we wanted to check how the process would work in a bit of a different way. Mostly that means in kind of a shorter period of time. So we wanted to make these first three modules shorter. So basically what we did is like one module per week. And we wanted to see how that works. And also, again, since participants didn't have a chance to finish their projects, we wanted to kind of start the whole process again with this COVID environment, with all these restrictions, but kind of also wanted to show that there's always a way to go through it. So this is just another obstacle that we can work around. And the differences, basically, most of the biggest difference is this, like I said in the first, the duration. So we concluded that yeah, we can make it shorter, and it doesn't make a big difference for the outputs of these modules. So basically, we put the focus on implementation and piloting the projects. And yeah, basically we are now stepping into that period, so we'll see how it works. So what we've seen that yeah, basically like one few hours for can cover this one module, and the outputs were basically the same as we had in the first batch.
I think it's really inspirational that you shared with the young participants that one way to look at a pandemic is that it's just another obstacle to work your way around and keep going. Looking back on the last year of the project, what would be your biggest takeaway?
The biggest takeaway. Uh, the biggest takeaway was, oh well, I think it's. I mean, of course, I mean, I think it's about Corona. Well, Corona caused. So I think that's. I don't know. It's something that you totally don't imagine ever happening. Nobody, I think, imagined this would happen a year ago. And actually, it was very nice to see how we can quickly adapt to the situation. It was very nice to see that people don't give up. And yeah, I don't know, the risk assessment. We need to be more creative in risk assessments for the future. So maybe that. Yeah, I think basically that would be the biggest one. So yeah, I really loved how our participants reacted. And yeah, I forgot to say that it's actually more than 50% of them actually rejoined the second batch of the project, and they continued with their ideas, with their work, and that was really, really beautiful to see. So I'm very proud of them.
Thank you so much, Damir, for joining us and for sharing some of the lessons you've learned from this experience. Before you go, could you tell our listeners where they could find out more information about your organization?
Well, your and our listeners can find our information about Impact Hub Zagreb at our website. We also have a Facebook account, so you can the address of Impact Hub Zagreb is zagreb.impacthub.net. If you can't or have a mistake typing, you just Google Impact Hub Zagreb and you will find it. And yeah, that's the main place where you can find info.
As Damir said, in life we find many obstacles and we just need to work our way around them. If you're interested in how you can be active in your community in times of COVID and how you can implement the IYE-LABS training program, go on the IYElabs.eu webpage and check out our guide section. In the Toolkits tab, you can download the toolkits for youth workers and the training manual where all the training process is laid out step by step. And you also have a library of 23 plus dynamics which you can use and customize to your own needs and experience. After the break, we will come back with Gloria, Elisa, and Adriano, who will share with us their interpretations of 3 pilot projects created by the young people who took part in the training program in Zagreb. Hi, Elisa. Welcome back on our show.
Hi, nice to be here with you.
Thank you for joining us. In our previous episodes, you shared with us the beautiful poems of Food Waste and Verbena 2030. What are you going to share with us today?
Thank you. I'm gonna share with you Igraonica 5271. Igraonica 5271. In fondo a paludi di sonno profondo, odo un cavallo a 3 zampe nitrire. Mi traghetta sulla groppa nella grotta dell'orrendo. Il mondo in un secondo confondo. Le anate e i pesci sono ora ricordi affogati di famiglie al lago, al largo dei miei pensieri ritorna l'incubo del primo giorno di scuola. Mi fido? Vagabondo, sogno, attendo, non ricordo. Come topo con il formaggio la tentazione è il pungolo, la trappola dietro l'angolo scatta in 2 secondi, dissolto il miraggio. Sprofondo, lo perdo, mi prende, lo scheletro che mi stringe al cuore danza con me nel buio della ragione. E io mi arrendo.
Thank you, Elisa. The project that inspired Elisa was created by Antun, and you can find the link in our show notes where you can read more about his pilot project.
Thank you for the possibility of letting poetry be part of such a beautiful project.
Our next guest is Adriano from Trento Poetry Slam, who is back with yet another beautiful interpretation, this time of the project designed by Thea, Dorotea, and Antonia. Hi Adriano, welcome back on our 4th and final episode.
Thank you, Patricia, and thank you for this invitation, and hello to everybody.
On our previous episodes, you shared with us the Entre Iguales, blogging in Fethie, and video montage poems. What are you going to share with us today?
I am going to read a poem which is based on the project Alternative Care. The inspiration came starting from the title because I really believe in the importance of care, especially in a moment in which the lack of community feeling is big. And I want to underline this aspect in writing this poem. Finestre chiuse, strade vuote. La fine di un'era si canta così. Affino l'orecchio per prendere parte, perfino le voci sono finite. Confini si spargono in mezzo alle strade, finestre più chiuse che cantano la fine. La cura è partire da uno sguardo che vede oltre ogni confine. Un muro non è la fine, un muro è l'inizio di quello che resta.
Thank you, Adriano, and thank you for reminding us how important it is to care for the people who need it most, especially in these times we are living. Our next and final guest is Gloria. Hi Gloria, welcome back on our show. On our previous episodes, you shared with us the Give Us a Hand and Sumamos Com poems. What have you prepared for us today?
Thank you very much. So I'm going to read Autotomia and I hope you enjoy it.
Mike's all yours.
La pioggia alla finestra si infittisce. Aprile si muove indisturbato oltre i vetri. Una primavera nitida e fiera si insinua tra le foglie e le tegole, tra i sanpietrini sotto forma di boccioli, dentro l'aria ricolma del congedo dei petali ai rami, sopra i marciapiedi e l'asfalto che li orla, sotto un cielo di perla. L'umanità assiste attonita dalla finestra, quando se ne ricorda. Il vento sferza i tricolori assopiti alle ringhiere dei balconi, traccia un moto oltre retorica. Scandendo il tempo sulla gaffa storica, lo accompagna uno sbadiglio corale, in attesa di tornare, ecco la preghiera, a ciò che si era. E cos'è infine normale? Il gesto unanime rende prassi l'errore, ma possediamo un tempo interiore per comprendere d'ogni dubbio i rispettivi perché. Possediamo un tempo che consenta di non scegliere fin tanto che. Possediamo un tempo esteriore per conoscere delle abitudini i riverberi meno sospetti, un tempo che al di fuori dello zerbino imploriamo che ci aspetti. Possediamo un tempo pensato e pesato per sapere ciò di cui è capace l'uomo che diventa folla, nugolo e valanga, sordo, cieco, arrabbiato con il suo simile e dunque con se stesso. Possediamo un tempo sotterraneo e fecondo per sapere ciò di cui è capace l'uomo che diventa catena, abbraccio silente, comunità, solitudine solidale, capace di un bene rivolto a sé, che non è tale se non rivolto all'altro. In nome di questo legame ricostruire, oltre le tegole ed oltre l'asfalto, oltre il timore del diverso, oltre il frutto soffocato nell'amianto, oltre un essere simili, solo nel pianto. Ad occhi tersi il cielo si è aperto, non ha molto di diverso. Tornerà a chiudersi forse poi. Le nuvole chiedono, noi?
Thank you, Gloria, and thank you for being on our show. The poem that Gloria shared with us is inspired by the project designed by Luca. If you want to know more about the project, you can go to the IYElabs.eu webpage and check out the How to Survive a Pandemic guide. We reached the end of our last episode of the Poetry Podcast series, a show powered by the IYElabs project and supported by the European Commission. We had so many interesting guests on our show, from youth workers from Córdoba, Trento, Poesie, and Zagreb, to many young people who dedicated their energy into making their communities a better place for everyone. We heard from the talented team from Trento Poetry Slam, who created for you 14 poems, monologues, and short stories, all based on the pilot projects designed during the IYElabs training program, implemented by Fundação Schul, Associazione Inco, Dynamic, and Impact Hub Zagreb. I'm Patrizia Dragan, and it has been a pleasure to be your host during the Poetry Podcast series. I hope to see you again in the future with more shows on active citizenship from around the world. Until then, stay safe and take care of others if you can.